You would think that the children eat. They don't get the food to eat it. They get the food. This is a phenomenon in our shul only. I haven't seen it anywhere else. To play with it on the stairs. I know what, all the food's been taken. I mean, at least eat it. You go up the stairs. I've slipped on bamba. I did a triple salsa on some bisley. And the best one was the herring slalom. I mean, all the way, I went up to my office to get something, and on the way back, unbelievable. All the food is everywhere, and it's a little bit, I think that's because someone was reading them Hansel and Gretel. So all the way back out of the shul, you've got this, and it's nuts all the way up Harsina, God knows where. And of course, they don't need it. The reason they can't eat the food at the Kiddush is because they would have stuffed themselves with the sweets from the shul. Right? So what's the point in making a Kiddush and having, we're gonna be the Kiddush? But it's actually not true. Because for some reason, food with Jews is like climbing Mount Everest. Why do people climb Mount Everest? Because it's there. That is exactly the same thing with us and food. Why do people eat food at a Kiddush? Because it's there. And then listen afterwards. Oh, I'm stuffed. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to manage lunch. Right? But watch, they get home there. Oh, it's hard. Oh, it's hard. They sit down. It's like you think they've managed being involved in physical exercise. They sit down. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Fatal mistake. A woman just prepared that food. A Jewish woman, possibly of Polish extraction. And you see this guy. Delicious, darling. Unbelievable. And then you understand why people sleep for 4 hours on Shabbos, because they have to recoup their energy after expending so much energy on eating. That's Kiddush. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, and I once raised at a meeting of the shul, I said, maybe we should stop the Kiddush. 7 people fainted. 7 on the point. I just said, stop the Kiddush. 7 people fainted. I said, is something the matter? The English people, they for the first time in their life, they had a Kiddush with food. Okay, so how could you deny it? The South Africans, it means they couldn't complain about the lack of food at the Kiddush. So all these people have this whole psychological need. They don't need the food. It's not about the food. It's about the psychological need to be able to talk about food. People will talk about restaurants. What is there to talk about at restaurants? People, it's like going to a Gemara shir. That's like, well, if you go to this, then you get that. They're going to chakiras upon chakiras. The meat was this, the wine was that, the cheese was this way, the spaghetti was that way. If you go this time, you can get this thing. You go on. I mean, mamish, people are going it. Absolute genius on food. Hours upon hours. And at the end of the day, we all know what happens to our food. I don't want to go into the details. I do not want to go into details. Yes? But let's say someone's going to have his field fertilized. Okay, that's what's happening. And you're hours upon hours. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you get a tin of baked beans, and dash in a couple of dead dogs in your home and drive. And they're talking about, here's dead dog, we're going to make a leaf when we get out. No one is going to make any leaves. I can just see it. I can just see it. I can see the seed now. I can see it. They saw it definitely doing. Even Rabbi was able to pull it off. You get all these people close up. Another one gone. Another one. We like food. It should be fast. It should be accessible. It shouldn't have any problems. And this brings me actually to another question, because I wasn't always how can I put it, strict about what went into my mouth. And then life was pretty easy. You just put it in and you took it, and that was it. From people and food. Oh my gosh. It is it's a totally new thing. First of all, when you're from, you don't eat. Because otherwise no one will know you're from. How will anyone know that you're from if you eat? Because if you're eating, then you can't prove that you're from. Have you ever thought about that? Did you not know? You don't realise that?
Excuse me.
No, please, Mrs. Harris, it's quite okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's okay. I mean, for goodness sake, Ralph Leviton's going to put this on YouTube tonight. I'm already on Sunday. I'm looking for a job in Scandinavia. Why do you think we brought an intern rabbi? It's like it's real revolving. So where were we? I'm trying to remember where I was. You see, you interrupted my train of thought. I don't really have a clue. Where was I?
From Jews.
I'm from people and food. I mean, I mean, you know, when you're not worried about food, I mean, I just went with Ostrovsky, and they took anything that was on the table, they're eating, it's great, it doesn't matter, it's pig, it's schmig, that's fine. Now, if you're from, the only way you prove you're from is by not eating. Have you ever thought about it? It's a whole pathology. You will know that I'm from because I won't eat. Ever. Anywhere.
It's disgusting.
At any time. Right? Never gonna eat, right? So, is that really true? Of course it's not really true. It's just true some of the time. Okay, that's how I prove that I'm actually from. But then there's a whole ritual. I mean, this is unbelievable. Washing your hands in order to eat. Now, I don't know what goes on here. I mean, I have seen it is an amazing thing. I've seen people spend 20 minutes getting ready to wash their. Have you seen this ritual? I mean, I do it as well, but I just don't do it for 20 minutes. That's an unbelievable thing. Right, let's see it. Then they do their vas, and then it might have been a chatzitza. Then they dry their hands all over again, and then wash it. So it's 20 minutes. Meanwhile, everyone's eating all the food. That's my proof to you that poor people don't eat, because they spend their entire time vassing their hands. Then by the time they finish vassing their hands, they're going to eat the meal. Sitting down to eat the meal, you have to ask the question, who's the mashgiach? Right? Who's the mashgiach? Who's the mashgiach? That's a very delicate question. Okay, so Jews, I mean, it's very interesting on the cultural aspect here. You know, I get phone calls, I get a question like, well, should I eat there? I said, well, is it kosher? I said, well, it says it's kosher. I said, well, if it says it's kosher, maybe it is kosher. No, but maybe it's not. Okay? Now, I said, well, do you know that it's not? They say, well, no, I heard from someone who heard from someone else. I said, well, why don't you check it out? So we have this whole thing about, once upon a time you wanted to eat, but now in order to be frum in eating, you're not actually allowed to eat, because if you do eat, then maybe you're not frum. So what you have to do is not eat, unless you go to a place which is going to be with an absolutely pristinely perfect hashgacha. Now that basically means you're going to be eating air. Okay? I love these chocolates, right? Mahadrim in a mahadrim chocolates, there's nothing in the box. Okay? So, I went mahadrim in a mahadrim chocolate, there's nothing in the box. You're sitting there, and it's ki'ilu, like, hot. And they're all saying, it's so tasty. Well, it doesn't taste at all. Okay? So you think you're eating. That's a very delicate question. And then you get to a new ritual. And I do this as rabbis. Because rabbis are, of course, the frummest people in the world. Okay? So they really have to do it. And this is under the chuppah. This is an amazing scene. Do you know what question I'm asked the most by prospective brides about their chuppah? The wine. Now, where did this come from? They're worried the wine because they're wearing a white dress and they have white wine. I want you to know where it comes from. It comes from being at sea with a storm under the chuppah. Ever seen the Rabbi? First of all, Rabbanim have got this thing, they mustn't hold a cup properly. How do you hold a cup? Show me how you hold a cup. How do you hold a glass? Like this, right? Not the rabbis. They do the jump. This. Right? It's there, it's in the hand. Now, if the guy would stand still, then the girl wouldn't have a nervous breakdown. But it's like, and also, because the show's got real kavanah, he closes his eyes, right? So first of all, it's in balance. Second of all, he's swinging it. And third of all, he does it all. Right? You ever see this? The poor Kala is like she's at that dress. She dreamt about it since she was 4, and suddenly she looks like, you know, I don't know what it's like something out of a horror movie. Okay? They go, and of course, we're all told, right? If you really want to show that you're from when you're drinking, you get the bottle, right? Now, when I pour drink, normally, you pour the drink just before it fills the top. But no, there's an Indian. You should know there's a real big Indian that you want to show that it's overflowing. There's overflowing of goodness. So what have we done? We've poured it and it's all over. And now you see the wine is just pouring. It's all over his hands. Okay? Okay? He's finished the bracha. No one's under the chuppah. He's the only person under the chuppah. They're from there. They're from the other way. The color's already fainted. She's in the head of the So that's where we go for the first question. They're asking, tell me, can I use white wine? Because if he's doing, you know, the Anidin line, the wine's going all over the place, at least if it's white wine, it won't stain. You know, that's the whole thing. Okay, so it's an amazing thing. Rabbis and wine. I mean, but if you go to a wedding, the most important person in the wedding is not the chatan, it's not the